Hello there, it's time to review another game from my vault, and today I'm looking at yet another Commodore 64 game. It's CJ in the USA, the sequel to CJ's Elephant Antics, and let's take a look at the fact file for this game. CJ in the USA was released in 1991 in European territories. It's published by Codemasters and it was developed by Big Red Software and Genesis Software Developments. The price I paid was £1.50, and the current going rate for the game, you can expect to pick it up on eBay for £2 to £5. So CJ in the USA, as I said, is a sequel to CJ's Elephant Antics, which I covered recently in the Budget Publisher Showdown. I'm not a huge fan of that game because of some issues with the gameplay, even though it looks and sounds fantastic. So let's take a look at the sequel and see how that compares. Let's take a closer look at the packaging for the game then. The first thing is it's still got the price label on. Sometimes I take these off, sometimes I leave them on, and this one I thought was quite nice. Bolton Computer Centre, £3.99. So somebody paid out for that back in the day. So you can see the CJ in the USA logo. There's a big image of CJ the elephant with some creatures. He seems to be in the New York sewers at this point, and there's a rat there and an alligator. I'm not sure why there's an alligator in the sewers in New York, but this is a bit strange. It says the game's X-rated. I don't know if that means it's got some kind of, I don't know, weird content in there that's not suitable for children. I'm not really sure. It's a bit of a strange thing to have on the front there. We've also got the usual superlatives that Codemasters like to put on the front of games. So you've got the crash smash 90%, the Codemasters logo, and then it says Codemasters underneath, just in case you couldn't read that, and it says it's a new release, which is fair enough. So moving around onto the spine, just says CJ in the USA and the Codemasters logo, and the back cover, lots of screenshots, typical Codemasters style, with the big flashes and various things all over the place. You've got a quote there from Crash Magazine, one of the best platform games to appear this year. Actual C64 screenshots, which you can see they are, and look pretty good as well, as you'd expect, because they're going to be pretty similar to the first game. And it says CJ's cartoon adventure across the USA, wade through New York sewers, ride the roller coaster at Disneyland, blast off at Cape Canaveral, battle with bad dudes, cowboys, alligators and Indians, rescue CJ's family from the evil hunter Colonel Fritz. And like on a lot of Codemasters games, they like to put bits of the text in capital letters just to make it look really important. Interesting that it mentioned Disneyland on there. I don't think you'd get away with having Disneyland in your game without paying Disney some money in this day and age. Quick look at the tape then before we look inside the inlay. Pretty bland, it just says CJ in the USA on it and the Codemasters logo printed on a black tape. So let's have a look inside the inlay. So as you can see, 2-player action, it says in the top right corner there. It also says massive playing world at the bottom there and the loading instructions. And it goes on to say, somewhere in the deepest, darkest reaches of the African jungle, CJ the elephant is playing. Suddenly there's an explosion. CJ turns around and sees a plume of smoke rising from his family home. He races back as fast as he can, finds his mother, brothers and sisters gone, kidnapped and taken to America. Barely holding back his tears, he vows to rescue his family and bring the evil hunter to justice. Let's move on. Oh, what's this? Oh, we've got the receipt for the game from Bolton Computer Centre from the 29th of November 1991. Paid £14.36, so I'm guessing whoever bought this bought a few other games at the same time. And yet strangely decided to keep the receipt inside probably what was the cheapest one. Anyway, let's move on. So typical Codemasters inlay, we've got some adverts for other games, Dizzy Panic and Spike in Transylvania. And then inside, they didn't certainly skimp on the amount of cardboard they used for creating these inlays back in the day, did they? So you've got the controls, including the joystick controls, a repeat of what's already been said in the inlay there, and then the object of the game, basically you've got to go from state to state, rescuing your family members and defeating the bosses and things like that. I can't really bother to read all that because there's loads of it. You can get invincibility pills, you can get bombs, you can fire peanuts, very much like the first game. You can eat hamburgers and hot dogs to replenish energy. So level 1's New York Harbor to Central Station, level 2 Chicago to Black Hills of Dakota, that's a big journey for a small elephant. Level 3 San Francisco to Los Angeles, that's a little bit more simple. And finally level 4 Cape Canaveral to Disneyland. My god, Cape Canaveral to Disneyland. Cape Canaveral's in Florida and Disneyland's in California. I think they might have meant Disney World there, but there you go. Yeah, so those are quite long levels by the sounds of it. I'm guessing they don't take as long as those journeys would in real life. We then got helplines, because Codemasters really did like to get your money out of you. So they've got helplines for all the games, and various ones for Spectrum, Amstrad, Commodore 64, Atari ST and Amiga games. And finally, we've got the credits for the game. programmer, game design, etc, etc, and a bit of copyright information. So there you go, massive inlay for this budget game. Let's load it up and see what it's like. The game's loading then, and this currently is the loading screen, a white screen saying loading CJ in the USA. I hope we're going to get something better than that. And sure enough we have. Here we go, we've got a very nice loading screen with CJ on his little raft in the sewers with the rats and crocodiles and other things around him. And that's done by John, whose name you can see in the bottom left corner there. I'm not quite sure of his full name, but never mind, we'll just leave it at John, shall we? So the game's loaded and here's the title screen, pretty nicely done. We've got a nice USA logo with a kind of 3D effect on it, and CJ bobbing along at the top there to the music, which is okay. It's probably not as good as the music on the first game, to be honest, and the title screen is not quite as good as the title screen from the first game either, I wouldn't say, but it's reasonably presentable. As you can see, the credits there, written by Dave Clark, graphics by Jonathan Smythe, or Smith, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that, but that'll be the John whose name was also on the title screen, sorry, the loading screen. And the music's done by Ashley Hogg. That's the same team that was responsible for the first game as well. There's a couple of options. You can have it 1 or 2 player mode. I'm not going to be playing 2 player mode because obviously you've got to move 2 elephants around the platforming stages, and that's just too much hard work. And also you can have the music on or off. Now in the first game, when you switch the music off, there was no sound effects, so I'm just going to test out whether that's the case in this game as well. So I'm going to switch the music off and then start the game and see what happens. It all sounds very quiet. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any sound effects, does it? So that's not very good. Again, the same as the first game, if you switch the music off you'd expect to get sound effects, but that's not the case. So let's quit back to the title screen. I do like that little intro bit with a bit of the American national anthem, and then he knocks CJ off with the letters and then he jumps back on. Right, so let's switch the music back on, and then I think we'll just start the game. There's not much more to say about the title screen. It's got some flashing text. It doesn't show sort of previews of the levels like the first game did, so that's a bit of a shame, but it's, as I said, fairly presentable. So let's get the game started, and the idea of the game is to rescue elephants. And the first thing I'm going to do is pick up those bombs there, because without them you're in trouble straight away, because if you look at the angle of this dog running backwards and forwards, you can't jump up and shoot it from there, and if you go here you can't fire back as you fall down because you put the umbrella on instead. So yeah, straight away you'd be in trouble if you didn't get the bombs. If you got the bombs, you push down to throw a bomb and it's quite easy to kill the dog. There's a rat here. I have to say, right from the start, again, just like the first game, the sprites and the graphics are lovely in this game. Actually, the backgrounds are not great. They're pretty bland, sort of lots of browns and yellows and quite repetitive. But the player sprite and all the enemies are beautifully drawn. So well done, Jonathan Smythe or Smith. You did a great job with the graphics. So much like the first game, the idea is to navigate the levels, and I've played this a few times before so I know roughly where I'm going. Navigate the levels, find the elephants, and every elephant you find gives you an extra life, I think, if I remember rightly, and eventually get to the end of the level and there's a boss. So it's pretty similar to the first game with the addition of finding elephants. But you've got things like this. The layout of the levels is really hard. There's lots of places where you can fall on spikes, much like the first game. But here, actually I'm gonna go down first. Straight on some spikes. No surprise there. It's got the same flaws as the first game, in as much as there's lots of leaps of faith where you might end up on spikes. You can shoot the enemies, as you can see there. It takes a few shots to get rid of them. I've just picked up an invincibility pill actually, so let's try and make use of that. Make the best of having that. Not that you can tell when it runs out, I think it just has. You just flash and it's quite hard to see. So what I wanted to demonstrate is that in this game it's very much like a maze to get around it. So you can go up here to a point, but then you get to a point that you can't get past. So you have to do a bit of backtracking. So whereas the first game had quite a linear level structure, it was like a maze, but you didn't get, you didn't have any dead ends in it particularly. You just kind of traversed through it and eventually found your way to the end of level boss. In this one, yeah, there's quite a lot of dead ends, so that's quite annoying. You may recall from my review of the game when we were talking about it in the Budget Publisher Showdown, if you've watched that, I wasn't a huge fan of the game because of all the leaps of faith, the first game I'm talking about now. This one, it has more of the same basically. All the enemies need 3 shots to kill with the peanuts, which you shoot by pressing fire. So this bit here, how do you get through this without losing a life? I'm not entirely sure, because I think if I jump over here I'll hit the spikes from below, and if I go from the top I'll run into them as well. Oh, actually no. Well, I've just learnt something. You just jump across there, and if you hit the spikes from below you don't die. So there we go, I've learnt something already. So again, you've got a platform that you can't get up to there, so I assume I can't go that way. Try and get this guy who's down below there. So yeah, enemies, you've got rats and alligators, which are sort of associated with the sewers, I suppose, but I don't really feel like I'm in the sewers. You've also got policemen, obviously New York cops, and you've also got American football players who throw American footballs at you. So yeah, I've played some of this first level. I've had a couple of trial runs, so I know my way through it to some extent. I'll probably get lost at some point, but yeah, you have to, if you haven't got the bombs you're in big trouble, because some of these enemies you nearly need to kill them from below to get past them. There you've got the spikes that appeared in the first game, which quite often you'll run into. Oh, I've fallen into some water. There we go, on your typical leaps of faith there. Let's see if I can get this guy. There we go. Okay. You do get pickups as well, food and things like that, hot dogs and donuts and stuff like that, I think primarily. It says in the instructions that you get bonus energy for that, but you don't have an energy bar, so I don't know what's that's going on about. It's just lies basically. I think it said that in the instructions for the first game as well, and it's just outright lies. You've got the annoying clouds that shoot lightning bolts at you again as well. They were in the first game. It's very similar to the first game. It feels like they basically just made some more levels and carried on where the first game left off. The music in the background is a bit sad. It's definitely not as good as the first game's music, although I didn't feel that fitted the game particularly well either. But yeah, it's really quite sad music in this second game, and it also stops for a long period of time and then starts again. But yeah, I'm just in complete silence at the moment because it's gone through one cycle of the music. Here we go, it's back now. Yeah, so it's best to just throw the bombs at these things from underneath, I find. So where am I at? Yeah. So once again you get 9 lives, which tells you all you need to know about how easy it is to lose lives. And you get things like this where you do this platforming, I've missed everything and died. Luckily it's respawned me at the top there, that's probably quite handy really, although I've obviously lost a life. And there goes another life from stepping on a spike, but I didn't really step on it, I was just sort of stood next to it. So yeah, there's lots of that again with slightly ropey collision detection. Got an ice cream there, it gives you points but you don't get any energy, there's no health in this game, so I don't know what the instructions are going on about there. Maybe the Spectrum version you had health, I don't know. I've got some more bombs there, so I've got plenty of bombs at the moment. That's good news because as I say, you really need them. So yeah, it's basically just continually navigating backwards and forwards across the level map. You have to work your way all the way to the top and then down again, so it's quite tedious. You can probably tell already I'm not a huge fan of this. See here, I've got to ultimately get over to the left there, but I can't get up to that platform, so I have to go to the right all the way over here first and then make my way. Oh, and there goes another life, down to 3 lives. There we go. But again, I can't get to that platform above there, so I've got to go along this way. What do I do here? Just jump to that one, I suppose. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, lots and lots of jumping from very small platform to very small platform. Nearly at the top of the level now, I think. In fact, I am at the top of it now. So, got to try and get past all these spikes without stepping on them, which I've I've managed to do. And then finally you get to the very top of the level, and then what do you have to do? Yep, take a leap of faith and jump over here and then make your way all the way back down. But here is the first what do you call it, elephant. So I've picked up an elephant. Actually, I think I've missed one. I think there was one behind me, but I don't think I care enough to go back for it. So yeah, there's lots of places here where you can sort of drop down, and you can guess what's going to happen here. Yep, straight onto some spikes. And lots of platforms where it's hard to tell whether it's a platform or not. So overall, it's definitely not an improvement on the first game in terms of the design of the game. It's very similar in a lot of respects. So all the way down and onto another spike. Yep, of course. Yeah, I mean, what am I doing here? Can I go over to the right here? Nope, doesn't look like it. Oh, there we go. And there goes another life. I've got 2 left. I think I'm near the end of the level. I definitely missed an elephant there. I don't think you have to rescue them all. I think it's optional. You do get an extra life, as I said, when you rescue an elephant, so that's a good thing, because I don't think you got extra lives in the first game at all. So I'm getting into the another spike. I mean, again, every single hole you fall down, you know there's going to be a spike there. It's just whether you avoid it or not. So here we get to the end of the level, the first end of level boss. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I don't know if I'm going to kill him or not. Oh no, he's going to kill me, and that's my last life gone. And that's game over. So I did manage to get almost to the end of the first level, or I got to the end of it, but I didn't complete it. So it's quite hard again, much like the first game. It's very easy to lose lives. What I'm going to do is put the cheat mode on, because it's got a built-in cheat mode, and you have to type in, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts, with the spaces but with no punctuation. That's quite a lot of typing on a Commodore 64 keyboard, so I'm going to very carefully do that now, and hopefully if I get it right, the border will light up another colour and I'll have infinite lives, and then I'm going to play through again and try and get a bit further in the game. So as you can see, the border turned white, so I typed it all in right. That's good news, and I'm going to start the game off again, but I'm not going to make you watch me play it all again. I will just pause the video basically in a second and move on to later in the level and try and start from around about the end of level boss area, and then move on to the later levels and show a bit of those. So I'm midway through the first level, and this is the bit I missed before. There's an elephant trapped in this sort of bucket shaped set of platforms above there, so I'm going to try and rescue that elephant this time. Oh, need to kill this thing first though, and obviously to do that I've got to go through all this nonsense first. It's much more easy to do when you know you've got infinite lives. Oh no, I fell on a spike, but it's okay because I've got infinite lives. Yeah, so to get this thing you must have to go down here. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, you're kind of stuck. It's obviously stuck in that little box there with 2 of these American footballer things. Well, if I dropped in there I'd definitely be dead, which doesn't really matter because of the lives, but so you've got to drop the bombs in there. So again, you've got no chance of doing this if you haven't got the bombs. But once you do that, you can drop in there and collect the elephant, but then you're stuck. Well, you're not stuck, but you've got to drop off this platform. Yep, it's another leap of faith. I've got no idea what I'm going to land on below there. Yeah, all the way down. Oh, look at that, all the way down onto the spikes again. And this time, well, I don't know, can I go over here? Oh, I can. Interesting. I didn't think I'd be able to do that because I thought when I landed on the spikes I'd die. So yeah, I'll progress now on to the end of the first level, and we'll take a look at that end of level boss, whatever it's supposed to be, and then we'll carry on onto the second level and see what awaits us there. So I'm approaching the end of the level again. I didn't really talk about these enemies. I don't know what these are supposed to be. They fire stuff at you. What are they? I mean, really, I've got no idea. I think they're small versions of whatever the big thing is, but yeah, I've got no idea. I can't kill them anyway, so I'm just going to move past that. Got killed again, landed on the spikes. I can probably shoot this guy. Oh, go away. But yeah, I mean, what is this guy? He looks a bit like, sort of a bit like Mario, I suppose. Oh, I can't get past him. Let's just throw a bunch of bombs at him. Lives aren't an issue anyway. But I guess the idea is you're supposed to run underneath him, but you're not particularly fast. There you go, it wasn't that hard to kill him. And then you get a piece of a map, it looks like, and away you go to level 2, which is the Wild West. And well, this looks very much like the first level. There's a lot of very yellow and brown platforms. There's a bit of desert in the background there. Maybe that's supposed to be the Wild West. I wouldn't call this the Wild West particularly. It looks like a castle or a tower. Not really in the Wild West. There's a snake down there I'm just trying to get with minimal success. Oh, for heaven's sake. Oh, I'm just wasting bombs here. Let's just get past him with the invulnerability. So yeah, lots of spikes again, lots of platforms to navigate, and it looks like it's more of the same. It's go up and down, up and down. It's just not really very much fun, this game. I suppose back when you were just buying one game a week for a budget price, you know, you'd get a reasonable amount of playability out of it. It's not a terrible game. It's well programmed. It's just the design of it isn't really very much fun. It's quite laborious getting around the levels, and lots of very easy deaths again. I don't know what's going on there. You keep getting enemies that respawn as well, so that's annoying. They kind of disappear for a bit and then come back, like that guy there. So yeah, I'm right at the very top of the screen at the moment. Where am I going from here? Go up there? Nope. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Down here maybe? Oh, I've fallen into a new bit. I mean, how are you supposed to know that? It's just pure chance or luck, or taking huge risks and not knowing whether you're going to fall into a place you're supposed to fall into, or a place that's full of spikes. What's the bets? Oh, well, it was spikes. Oh, I don't know how I'm supposed to get through this. Let's just go this way, you know. Oh. Lots and lots and lots of spikes. What are these things? That look like a hedgehog or something. Blue hedgehog? Where would we get one of those from in video gaming? I don't know, what a silly idea. You know, what is this? Like some guy in a trench coat as well. They certainly put lots of different enemies. Oh, there's another elephant down there. I don't think I'm going to be bothered to go and rescue it, to be honest. Let's just move on. Oh. And by the way, level 2, same music as level 1. That rather depressing music that's playing in the background when it can be bothered to. Oh, maybe I can get that elephant this way. So yeah, much like the first game, they didn't bother creating any tunes for the later levels, any different tunes. It's just the same tune every level. Presumably, we'll find out if I can be bothered to get to the third level. And speaking of which, I'll carry on progressing through this level and see where I can get to. I don't think you need to see any more of me going up and down a number of towers like I'm doing at the moment. Presumably, eventually I'll get to the top, and then what's the betting? I have to go down again, and then up again, probably. Is a moving platform coming back? There we go, it is. So yeah, it's a bit repetitive and quite dull, to be honest. As much as I criticised the first game for the sort of level design being a bit annoying, and you know, with all the spikes and stuff, it was a pretty playable game, but this one seems to have lost that playability in favour of just pure frustration, really. It's also got no continues, whereas the first game had continues. This one, if you die, you're right back to the beginning, so that's not much fun either. Can I jump over that? Nope. What about now? Because I've got invulnerability now. I bet that's a way to cheat your way through some of the level there. I don't know where I'm going here. Just falling and falling and falling. And oh look, there's Mount Rushmore in the Wild West. What's that all about? Because that's in what, North Dakota or South Dakota, Mount Rushmore. So not really what you'd call the Wild West, I don't think. But what do I know? I'm not an expert on American cultural geography, I will admit. There's a teepee or wigwam there, so that's something that's a bit Wild Westy, but that's the first real sign of anything that I would call Wild West. I did say I was going to just stop and resume the video when I got close to the end of the level, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to shut up and play a bit more, and you won't have to sit through what's quite a boring looking game, really. So I'm now above a very dark cave, which I'm assuming is going to have the end of level boss in, or at least something that precedes the end of level boss. That level seemed a lot shorter than the first one, but just as tedious, with going up and down and across the screen to get to the end of it. So let's see what we get here. Okay, It's what, I mean, what is this? A monkey? Why? Not really representative of the Wild West. Oh, this is quite easy, I think. You just got to time your jumps. Oh no, he got me then, but I mean, as long as you time your jumps so that you don't clash with when he jumps, I think you can just stay on this platform at the top. Yeah, there we go, it's done. And then I can just shoot these snakes. Oh no, I'm already on the next level. Oh, I've skipped to the next level a bit prematurely there, but never mind. I must have accidentally collected the map. So here we go, level 3. I think I'm supposed to be in California now, if I remember from the instructions. I mean, where do I go from here? It must be left, because right's just a load of spiky balls. So another leap of faith. What do we get? I guess, well, yeah, spikes at the bottom of a pit. No surprise there. Let's see if we can. Okay. What the? Oh, what on earth? What are these enemies? Is it just me, or are they members of the Ku Klux Klan? Really cute members of the Ku Klux Klan, but I mean, what the hell? That's just strange, very strange. Interesting decision to put white supremacists in the 3rd level of your game. I'm not even sure they were very active in California. They're more a sort of southern states kind of thing, aren't they? But wow, I mean, yeah, this is just really annoying as well now, getting around this bit. I've barely got anywhere yet, and well, I'm a bit gobsmacked by the clan members there. Wow. Can they be anything else other than members of the Ku Klux Klan? I don't think so. I mean, yeah, wow, is all I can say really. Oh yeah, look, spikes again, unsurprising. I knew they were coming as well, but you've just got to try and use the umbrella to stop you falling onto them. But yeah, I mean, it's really quite tedious. I think I've probably played enough now. I've been seeing the Ku Klux Klan members. Yeah, I don't think it can get any lower than that, can it? It's a really odd thing to put in a computer game that's meant to be for kids, really. I mean, you're killing them at least. I suppose that's the positive side of it, but it's still a bit bizarre. Oh, am I supposed to be in San Francisco here? Yeah, this must be the Golden Gate Bridge in resplendent black. Okay. There's also still the policeman and the American football players, so not much variety in the bad guys. They have added the clan members, but that's about it since the 1st level. There was some kind of characters on the last one, I think, as well. I think they were probably supposed to be Native Americans, weren't they? Not hedgehogs, but they look more like hedgehogs. So yeah, okay, so you move along the bridge here, and there's like a barrier in the way that you can't get past. So once again, you've got to go up and then get across and then go down, I suppose. But really, I think I've had enough of the game. It's really the first game was good. It had some issues, but it was a good game. But this seems to have taken all the fun out from the first game. It's definitely not an improvement, as I said. Yeah, it's just, I mean, what's going on here? I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for a thing to come across a platform. No, I guess I've just got to jump down and hope I don't land on something bad. Oh, well, I didn't in this case, but oh, and now I have. Yeah, no surprise there, because there's always an enemy waiting there for you to land on if it's not the spikes. I am still playing it, even though I said I was going to stop. Yeah, I mean, oh, there's another elephant rescued there. Yeah, I think I'm done. I don't think there's any more to see in this. Again, the colours are quite poor in it as well. It's a lot of very bland, repetitive colours, repetitive platforms. The layouts of the levels are just done with these repeated sort of tiles. Now I've got 3 different holes to drop down here. What's the bet in the spikes at the bottom of 2 of them? Have I got the right one? Nope, of course not. So yeah, it's just, yeah, I'm bored of it, and it's just not any fun at all. That's the main problem with it. It's challenging, I'll give it that. I mean, it's hard, but it's not challenging. It's not going to rely on any kind of dexterity or anything like that to get through. It's just learning the layout of the level. It's a memory test, much like the first game in my opinion, which I was more impressed with than this, as I said, but not by much. Oh look, here's the end of level boss for the next level. What is that? Again, what are these end of level bosses? I mean, this kind of looks a bit like Batman, but like a comical sort of cartoon Batman. I don't know, can I just kill him from here? No, of course I can't. It wouldn't be that easy. But yeah, enough's enough. I do like these dogs. They look a bit like Snoopy. They're the cutest thing in the game for my reckoning. And you have to kill them, so that's not very nice either, is it? So in summary, yeah, not impressed with the game. This is going to be the first Commodore 64 game in this series that I'm going to say I'm going to sell, because I just can't see myself ever wanting to play it again. It's so just dreary. Dreary is the best way I can describe it. And on that note, if you've got any thoughts about this game, CJ in the USA, then let me know in the video comments. I'm going to switch this dreariness off, or at least quit out of it, and we'll be picking another game to play next time around. So that's all for this one. Right then, time to pick another game out of the tin at random for reviewing in the next episode. Will it be another Commodore 64 game or something different? We'll soon find out. And out of the tin has come another Commodore 64 game. It's Roller Coaster Rumbler. So there we go. I'll be sticking with the Commodore 64, which I'm sure will please quite a lot of you viewers. So next time around, I'll be reviewing Roller Coaster Rumbler. Tune in for that next time. Thanks very much for watching this video, and see you again soon.